I thank the gentleman. We now go to the gentleman from Nevada, Mr. Horsford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to our witnesses for being here. And, you know, it's my understanding that we've had 9 oversight hearings on Benghazi since the horrific attacks on our consulate on September 11th, 2012. And like many of my colleagues have expressed to the family, I believe that we need to continue to do everything within our power as Congress to get to the solutions and the recommendations that will prevent this from happening again. And I think that in addition to our condolences, the things that we need to do most is our job, to come up with the recommendations to prevent this. One of the overall conclusions of the Accountability Review Board was just that, quote, that Congress must do its part to meet this challenge and provide necessary resources to the State Department to address security risks and meet mission imperatives. That was a direct statement out of the Review Board recommendation. And I think each of you agree that Congress must do its part. Am I correct? Yes or no, real quick.
Yes.
So, you know, Mr. Chairman, I just would hope that after this hearing, after 9 oversight hearings, that we will begin to work on some specific recommendations that we can bring forward, and that all of us working together can do our job to protect our embassies. I think that's what the public wants. I believe and hope that that's what the families want in the memory and the legacy of those who lost their lives. And I would say that it does cost money. Mr. Nordstrom, I know you say it's not just about money, but it also is about properly prioritizing budget considerations. And, you know, in the past, you know, my colleagues on the other side have not been willing to make the kinds of serious and sustained commitments to funding that are necessary for large-scale and long-term security projects like building facility improvements, for example.
Would the gentleman yield briefly?
May I?
Of course.
Thank you. And so in both the 2011 and 2012 budget cycles, the budgets gave the State Department hundreds of millions of dollars less than what was requested. The fiscal year 2013 budget as proposed by the other side proposed even more cuts. They want to reduce international affairs budget by more than $5 billion less than it was in fiscal year 12. That is a 9.8% cut to diplomatic security when extrapolated across the whole foreign affairs budget. By the fiscal year 2016, the proposed budget by the other side further cuts funding to international affairs by another $5 billion. This represents a 20% cut to diplomatic security when extrapolated over the entire foreign affairs budget. So these are serious and significant cuts, and we cannot pretend that they don't have consequences. And so I know that my colleagues have talked several times about holding people accountable. Well, I hope that one of those groups that we will hold accountable are ourselves, as members of Congress, to do our job to properly fund the safety of our embassies so that this never happens again. I urge my Republican counterparts to work with us in a bipartisan effort to actually fund these improvements to our embassy security and to follow through on the 29 ARB recommendations that have already been made and those that we believe should also be supported from this hearing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.